Hey guys, and welcome back to another very exciting video. So if you guys have been following my channel, you would know that I am in the process of reviewing the HP Pavilion Gaming 15 EC1024AX base model with the Ryzen 5 4600H and GTX 1650. I have already done the thermal performance review, so go check it out if you haven't already. I have also tested Cyberpunk 2077 performance on it, and today I have for you a very comprehensive video on the gaming performance of the HP Pavilion. Guys, it took a lot of work to conduct these tests as technically accurate as possible to maintain parity with other reviews on the internet. So a like and a sub would be much appreciated. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get to the testing procedure. So in this video, I have not only shown built-in game benchmarks for those games which have it, but also real in-game performance for certain games to give you a better picture. I have also tested games in the absolute stock conditions, so no Ryzen controller has been used, just the stock Windows high performance profile and with only a single stick of 8GB DDR4 3100MHz RAM, as I feel most people buying this budget laptop will stick with this configuration for some time before upgrading to dual channel RAM, maybe a year after or so. I will also upload dual channel RAM performance in games sometime in the future and also dedicated game reviews on this laptop. I have used MSI Afterburner to show all the device and in-game statistics. Nothing is hidden, everything is put forward in the most transparent way possible. Okay, so starting with Red Dead Redemption 2's built-in benchmark, first in medium settings. Point to be noted, these are the exact settings that Jared from Jared's Tech uses for his testings. So in high settings, the Pavilion gets an average FPS of 53 FPS, which is quite impressive for a 1650 laptop. Whereas in high settings, the Pavilion gets an average of 39 FPS, which is quite good, but in my opinion, medium settings works better for this laptop. I think it's a good compromise between visuals and performance. Next, we test Far Cry 5's built-in benchmarks. So in high settings, the Pavilion gets an impressive average of 61 FPS and 65 FPS in medium settings. Whereas in ultra settings, the Pavilion gets an average of 57 FPS. During real gameplay, in high settings, the Pavilion maintains an average FPS just below 60 and 1% lows of 40 and 0.1% lows of 21. So a pretty enjoyable experience just with single channel RAM. Next up, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's built-in benchmark in high settings. The Pavilion gets an average FPS of 49 FPS, which is in line with any other 1650 laptop. The benchmark numbers are quite close to the real gameplay experience with an average FPS close to 50 and around 45 FPS when there are a lot of NPCs around. The percentile figures are pretty good and can be further improved with dual channel RAM. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is next, and in the built-in benchmark, the Pavilion maintains a fantastic average FPS of 60 FPS in medium settings and 55 FPS in high settings. However, in real gameplay in this particular scene at high settings, the Pavilion maintains an average of about 46 FPS. There was only one slight stutter, which is indicated by the 0.1% loss of 10. I must say, pretty enjoyable experience for a sightseeing AAA game. Next up we have Mafia Definitive Edition. Now this game does not have any built-in benchmarks, so I tested two scenes at max settings, which is basically the high preset. So while driving in the open world, we get a pretty good average FPS of 44 FPS with good enough percentile figures. I must say the experience is very fluid despite not getting 60 FPS, and the game looks absolutely beautiful. Probably the best remastered version of a game ever. Highly recommended. And in this scripted chase scene, the Pavilion maintains a good average of 47 FPS. Alright, next up, NFS Heat. Once again a game with no built-in benchmark. So I tested the game in medium settings once during the first scripted race at night and once during the day in the open world. Now NFS Heat is an anomaly. Just look at the ridiculously high CPU usage. I have no idea why so. This is also the only game that sometimes really shoots up the CPU temps in the Pavilion. Anyways, when racing at night through an intense chase like this, you can expect an average of over 50 FPS, but you may encounter one or two stutters, especially when on single channel RAM. During the day, however, the experience is quite a bit better with an average of over 60 FPS. However, dual channel RAM is definitely needed to improve the overall gameplay experience. Moving on to a much better racing game, we have Forza Horizon 4 demo running at ultra settings with long motion blur enabled. We get an absolutely fantastic gaming experience with an average of 67 FPS and really high percentile figures indicating buttery smooth gameplay experience. Now this Forza Horizon 4 looks so much better than NFS Heat, and yet it runs much smoother at higher settings. This is how good games are. Lastly, we have good old GTA 5 with everything maxed out. The Pavilion pretty much maintains an average of 60 FPS or more. Now GTA 5 7 years later still looks really good, and it's a testament of how well this game is optimized, unlike the latest open world game. You know what I'm talking about. So overall, the HP Pavilion Gaming 15 has impressed me a lot. We often talk about high-end machines with expensive RTX graphics, but really, for someone who is on a tight budget and looking to purchase his or her first gaming/work laptop, the Pavilion really fits the bill. It has excellent CPU performance due to the Ryzen 5 4600H with great CPU temps, and even the gaming performance is quite adequate in the context of the price. Temperatures while gaming is also well under control. So that's it for this video guys. I'll come with more dedicated game reviews for the Pavilion, and the full review is coming soon. So like, share and definitely subscribe for the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.